Superman is coming! Nice! It's Supergirl!
What's up, it's Ryan, and I just finished reading this DC story that honestly made me pause and wonder what the writers were thinking. Because they basically asked, what if the DC universe got hit by a virus that spreads through screens, which means every time someone checks their phone or look at their computer, they get infected. And it's all because Darkseid thought he was being clever, but ended up being dumber than a bag of rocks and messing up 2 entire worlds in the process. Which all takes place in Deceased, where Darkseid's massive ego and complete inability to think things through creates the most devastating apocalypse the DC universe has ever seen. With Darkseid, who is the literal embodiment of evil and supposedly one of the smartest beings in existence, decides he's going to create the anti-life equation using Cyborg as his personal computer. But here's the thing about Darkseid. For someone who's supposed to be a cosmic genius, is actually incredibly stupid when it comes to execution. Because instead of creating his precious equation, he accidentally creates a virus that completely corrupts people's minds. And the only way to get relief is to literally scratch your head until you don't have a head anymore. And you know what the worst part is? Cyborg gets sent back to Earth and connects to the internet like he always does. And suddenly everyone with internet access, which is basically everyone, gets infected just by looking at their screens. The heroes start dropping like flies. And when I say Batman, the guy who has contingency planned for everything, gets completely overwhelmed by this virus and ends up getting destroyed by Alfred of all people, you know things are absolutely hopeless. Alfred becomes this total badass, by the way, just going around taking down zombies like a spring cleaning at Wayne Manor. After shooting Batman, he stands over the corpses of Batman, Tim Drake, and Nightwing, which is heartbreaking because you can see in his face that he's trying to process the fact that he's outlived all these young heroes who were supposed to have full lives ahead of them. He's got this suitcase meant for Damian Wayne and he's just trying to do right by Bruce's memory while the whole world literally ends around him. Also, not gonna lie, a lot of you aren't subscribed, so if you like this stuff, hit subscribe. It's free and you can always change your mind. But yeah, anyways, during this time, Harley Quinn is getting chased by Zombie Joker, and she has this moment where she's like, I am not about to get killed by my psychotic ex-boyfriend when I've survived everything else he's put me through. And then she just completely annihilates him, but then immediately gets surrounded by the zombie birds of prey, because apparently even in the apocalypse, Harley can't catch a break. But the part that really got to me was when Superman was going to check on his parents. You know how Superman's always this beacon of hope and optimism? Well, he flies to Smallville and you can immediately tell something's wrong because Martha Kent is terrified and they're both staring at this log shed. Clark opens it up and then opens the floor hatch and finds his dad, Jonathan Kent, the man who taught Superman everything about being a good person, completely infected and trying to attack his own son. And Clark has to physically restrain his own father and lock him back up, knowing that the man who raised him is gone forever. Then he tells his mother that his dad isn't here anymore and they need to leave. And honestly, if Superman can't save his own dad, what hope does anyone else have? But things get even worse when Captain Atom, who's basically a walking nuclear reactor, gets infected from the inside out. Ray Palmer, the Atom, was inside a zombie trying to figure out what's causing all this, but the virus got to him too. He starts tearing up Captain Atom's blood cells from within. Now you've got a nuclear powered zombie who's about to explode and there's literally nothing anyone can do to stop it. The survivors are desperately trying to coordinate through the Daily Planet, getting heroes and villains to work together, which honestly should tell you how bad things are when even Lex Luthor is willing to play nice. Superman manages to find Flash and the Kid Flash, and Poison Ivy saves Harley by snapping zombie necks like they're breadsticks, and for a minute almost feels like they have a chance. But then Zombie Giganta shows up and she's massive, terrifying, and completely unstoppable. Alfred tries to stop her in his plane, but she swats him out of the sky like a fly. Even when the combined forces of Superman, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern try to take her down, she's just too powerful. And then Cyborg shows up and just blasts a hole through Giganta's head, telling Superman that nobody can be saved and all the zombies want is death. Meanwhile, Alfred gives Damian his own custom batsuit and tells him that Bruce always thought he was worthy of it, which is both beautiful and heartbreaking because it's like passing on a legacy in the middle of apocalypse. They try to give everyone contact lenses that blur vision so screens can't affect them, but then Hawkgirl falls from the sky with burnt wings, warning everyone that Captain Atom is about to explode. Superman and Wonder Woman try to get him as high as possible, but it's not enough. The explosion is massive and it completely obliterates Metropolis. Somehow, the rookie Green Lantern manages to protect the survivors with the force field, and then Lex Luthor shows up wanting to work together. They manage to destroy all internet connectivity worldwide, which slows the spread, but now they're stuck on a planet full of zombies with no way to communicate globally. Everyone retreats to the Fortress of Solitude to plan their next move, and Lex, who's now bragging about being the smartest person on the planet alive since Batman's dead, suggests that they need to evacuate the entire planet. Superman's against it because Earth is his home, but when Martha tells him it's their only option, he reluctantly agrees. But here's the thing about having hundreds of heroes in one place during a zombie apocalypse. It's basically asking for trouble. And sure enough, Martian Manhunter gets infected, breaks into the fortress, kills Lex Luthor instantly, and claws out Flash's back, turning him into a zombie. Now think about this for a second. Flash is the fastest man alive and he's got a virus that needs to be spread. He can literally run around the world in seconds, infecting everyone he touches. The only person fast enough to stop him is Superman. But Clark realizes he can't outrun Barry, so instead he positions himself for a head-on collision and rips through zombie Flash like paper. But Flash managed to scratch Superman during the collision, and now the most powerful being in the DC universe is slowly turning into a zombie. Since it's Superman, the transformation takes longer, giving him enough time to say goodbye to his family and fly into space, hoping that suffocating into the vacuum will kill him before he fully transforms. But it doesn't work. Superman is too powerful to die from suffocation, and now you've got a zombie Superman with heat vision, super strength, and the ability to fly at light speed. Zombie Superman crashes through buildings, and the League knows they have only one option: fight the person who's supposed to be their greatest protector. Damian pulls out Batman's contingency plans for taking down every major hero, including one specifically for Superman. They forge weapons with kryptonite, get the survivors onto the ship, but then Aquaman shows up with an army of Atlanteans. Green Arrow kills Aquaman with a perfect shot through the eye, and then has this moment where he's like, Batman didn't think I was dangerous enough to need a contingency plan? But watch this. It's both badass and tragic because even in Apocalypse is still trying to prove himself. The final battle is absolute chaos. Atlanteans fighting Amazons, Superman fighting everyone else, Wonder Woman managing to slice up Superman's arm and stab him through the body before he kills her with one punch. Superman then flies toward the evacuation ships, and Superboy realizes there's only one way to stop his father, by colliding with him head on, potentially sacrificing himself. But Superman escapes and flies directly into the sun, absorbing all its energy and threatening to turn the entire universe into a cold, lifeless void. The Green Lanterns can't get close enough to stop him because the heat would destroy them, and everyone realizes that not only Earth is doomed, but the entire universe might be too. Meanwhile, Cyborg is with a dying Wonder Woman, who's caught in her own lasso of truth. He asks if there's a cure, and she reveals that since Cyborg caused the virus originally, it's also the key to ending it. But in a moment of irony, Cyborg had decided to stay behind instead of evacuating, and while he's distracted by this revelation, zombie Wonder Woman kills him, destroying the only cure for the virus. The story ends with the survivors looking at their new home, Earth 2, with no money, no belongings, nothing except each other and the hope that they can build something better. It's bittersweet because they survived, but at the cost of everything they ever knew. You know what really gets me about this story? It's not just the zombie horror or the incredible artwork. Is how it shows that even our greatest heroes are vulnerable to the simplest things. We're talking about Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, beings who can literally move planets and travel through time, and they're all brought down by something as mundane as looking at a screen. It's almost like a commentary on how our digital connectivity, the thing that's supposed to bring us together, becomes the very thing that destroys us. And maybe that's what makes the series so effective. It takes our modern anxieties about technology and social media and turns them into literal nightmare fuel. Oh, and don't forget to like the video if you haven't already. It really helps me keep making videos like this. By the way, what do you think is scarier? The idea that our heroes could become our greatest threat, or the fact that something as simple as a screen could end civilization as we know it? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.